There's something fascinating about human behavior. When we're faced with uncertainty, when life throws challenges our way, our instinct is to control, to predict, to hold on tight. But have you ever noticed that the more we try to control everything, the more anxious we become? Now imagine if there was a different way. A mindset that doesn't rely on having all the answers, but instead finds strength in surrender. A perspective that says, you don't have to carry the weight of the world alone. This is where Tawakkul comes in, the deep, unwavering trust in Allah that transforms the way we approach life. Tawakkul isn't about passively waiting for things to happen. It's about taking action, doing your best, and then trusting that whatever unfolds is exactly as it's meant to be. So today, I want to talk about how shifting from fear to faith, choosing Tawakkul over anxiety, can change everything. Because when you stop trying to control the outcome and start trusting the process, you don't just find peace, you find power. Faith over fear is a concept that has the power to transform the way we approach life, our struggles, and the challenges that come our way. Fear is a natural human response, one that has been ingrained in us for survival. It alerts us to danger, warns us of potential threats, and keeps us cautious. But when fear takes control, it no longer serves us. It limits us. It keeps us stuck, hesitant, and uncertain. It creates anxiety over things that may never happen and prevents us from taking necessary steps forward. Fear is the voice in our minds that constantly questions, what if things go wrong? What if I fail? What if I lose everything? It feeds on uncertainty, making us doubt ourselves, our choices, and ultimately, our future. Faith, on the other hand, operates on an entirely different level. It does not ignore challenges, nor does it deny the existence of obstacles. Instead, it shifts the focus from what could go wrong to what is already written. Faith is the deep-rooted belief that no matter how uncertain things seem, there is a higher power in control. It is the trust that every challenge carries purpose, every setback has wisdom, and every hardship is a step towards something greater. Faith allows a person to move with confidence even when the path ahead is unclear. It replaces the paralysis of fear with the courage to act, knowing that outcomes are not random but divinely orchestrated. When faith becomes the foundation of life, fear loses its grip. This is not to say that fear will never arise, because it will. Doubts will creep in, difficult moments will come, and the unknown will always exist. But faith is the counterbalance. It is the voice that says, even if I do not see the way, I trust that a way exists. It allows a person to take risks, pursue dreams, and face difficulties without being overwhelmed by worry. Faith removes the need for absolute certainty because it instills confidence that whatever happens is already destined, and it is meant for one's growth. Fear keeps people from making bold decisions. It stops them from pursuing opportunities because they are afraid of failing. It convinces them to settle for less because they fear that aiming higher will lead to disappointment. It keeps them stuck in toxic situations because they are afraid of what will happen if they walk away. But faith does the opposite. It pushes a person forward even when the destination is unknown. It creates a mindset that does not seek control over everything, but rather trusts in the divine plan. Faith provides the strength to step into the unknown with the assurance that no matter what happens, one is never alone. The essence of tawakkul lies in this very principle. It is not a passive belief, but an active choice. It is choosing to rely on Allah fully while still putting in the effort required. It is the balance between doing one's best and knowing that the final outcome is not within human control. Fear says, what if I fail? Faith says, if it is written for me, nothing can stop it. Fear says, what if things don't work out? Faith says, if it is not meant for me, something better will come. This shift in mindset is what gives a person true inner peace, because they no longer rely solely on their own abilities, but on the wisdom of the Creator who sees what they cannot. Faith allows people to embrace challenges with resilience. When fear takes over, difficulties feel unbearable, but with faith, hardships become lessons. Struggles are no longer viewed as punishments, but as part of a greater plan. A person who trusts in Allah understands that every test has a purpose, and every delay is not a denial but a redirection. This perspective changes everything. Instead of fearing trials, they are seen as stepping stones toward personal and spiritual growth. And instead of dreading the future, there is confidence that whatever is ahead is already taken care of. Fear often thrives on the illusion of control. People fear losing jobs, relationships, or security because they believe their stability depends solely on external factors. But faith teaches that sustenance, success, and provision are in the hands of Allah. It removes the burden of trying to control every aspect of life and replaces it with trust. When a person truly believes that nothing happens without divine permission, their perspective on fear changes. They no longer stress over things outside their control because they understand that even setbacks are part of the greater plan. When faith is stronger than fear, life is lived with more clarity and confidence. There is no longer a need to be consumed by anxiety over the unknown. Decisions are made with trust rather than hesitation. Opportunities are embraced rather than avoided. Setbacks are faced with patience rather than despair. Fear may still whisper doubts, but faith will always have the final say. People often believe that success is entirely in their hands, that if they work hard enough, strategize perfectly, and control every detail, they can guarantee the outcome they desire. This mindset fuels ambition, but it also creates an immense burden. It leads to frustration when things don't go as planned, anxiety over uncertainty, and self-doubt when efforts seem fruitless. The reality is that no matter how much effort a person puts in, the final result is never fully within their control. There are too many variables, some seen, some unseen, that shape the outcome of any endeavor. This is where Tawakkul shifts the perspective, teaching that while effort is essential, the results are in Allah's hands. When a farmer plants a seed, he does everything in his power to ensure its growth. He waters it, provides sunlight, removes weeds, and protects it from harm. But after all his effort, he cannot force the seed to grow. He cannot control the weather, the soil conditions deep underground, or the unseen factors that determine whether the plant will flourish. His role is to nurture the seed to the best of his ability, but the outcome, whether the plant bears fruit or not, is beyond him. This is the balance of effort and trust. It is the understanding that human responsibility lies in action, but the final result belongs to Allah. Of that being said, God takes us to Allah who answers. People often tie their sense of self-worth to the outcomes of their actions. If they achieve their goals, they feel validated. If they face setbacks, they feel like failures. This attachment to results creates emotional highs and lows that are entirely dependent on external circumstances. But when a person truly practices tawakkul, they detach their worth from the outcome and place it in the sincerity of their effort. They understand that success is not always about reaching a specific goal, but about doing what is within their power and trusting that whatever unfolds is meant to be. Many times, people hesitate to take action because they fear failure. They worry about what others will think, about the consequences of making the wrong choice, about whether their efforts will be wasted. This fear keeps them stuck, preventing them from moving forward. But Tawakkul shifts the mindset. It removes the fear of failure because it teaches that effort is never wasted. Even if the desired result does not come, there is always a lesson, a redirection, or a hidden blessing. No effort is meaningless when it is done with sincerity and trust in Allah. Control is an illusion that human beings cling to. People try to control their careers, relationships, and futures, believing that if they just work hard enough, they can ensure everything goes according to plan. But life does not work that way. Unexpected events happen, opportunities are lost, people change, and circumstances shift. The more a person tries to control everything, the more stress and frustration they experience. Tawakkul frees a person from this exhausting cycle. It allows them to focus on what is within their control, their actions, intentions, and efforts, while surrendering the rest to Allah. When a person fully embraces tawakkul, they begin to move differently. They apply for the job without obsessing over whether they will be hired. They work hard in their business without being consumed by fear of failure. They put effort into their relationships without demanding guarantees of loyalty or longevity. They prepare, they plan, they strive, but they do not attach their peace to the outcome. This is not a passive approach to life. It is a deeply empowering one. It removes unnecessary worry and allows a person to live with confidence and ease, knowing that their responsibility is only to do their best. There is a profound relief that comes with realizing that results do not rest on human shoulders. A student studies for an exam, but their final grade is in Allah's hands. A business owner puts in years of hard work, but their financial success is ultimately determined by factors beyond their control. A person seeking marriage makes efforts to find the right partner, but whether the relationship succeeds is written long before they even meet. Understanding this does not mean a person stops trying. It means they stop stressing over what is not theirs to control. People often pray for specific outcomes, asking Allah for a particular job, a certain opportunity, or a desired success. But sometimes what they ask for is not what is best for them. Sometimes a door remains closed because what is behind it would have led to harm. Sometimes a delay is actually protection. Tawakkul teaches that while people should work towards their goals, they should also trust that if something does not happen, it is because Allah, in His infinite wisdom, has a better plan. This mindset changes the way a person deals with difficulties. When faced with setbacks, instead of falling into despair, they remind themselves that they are only responsible for their effort. They let go of the need to control every outcome and instead focus on what they can do in the present moment. They find peace in knowing that even if things do not go as they hoped, there is a wisdom beyond their understanding. Their focus shifts from controlling results to maintaining unwavering trust. Uncertainty is one of the greatest sources of anxiety for human beings. The unknown creates fear because people naturally crave control. They want to know what will happen next. They want to plan every step, and they want to be assured that their efforts will lead to the results they desire. But life does not work this way. No matter how much a person prepares, there will always be variables outside of their control. Unexpected situations arise, opportunities disappear, relationships change, and plans do not always unfold as expected. This reality can create a deep sense of unease, but Tawakkul offers a completely different perspective, one that brings peace even in the midst of uncertainty. When a person truly believes that everything is already written, their relationship with uncertainty transforms. Instead of seeing the unknown as something to fear, they begin to see it as a space where divine wisdom is at work. They understand that just because they cannot see the full picture does not mean that things are not unfolding exactly as they should. This belief removes the need to constantly seek control over every detail of life. It shifts the focus from worrying about the future to trusting in the one who holds it. People often struggle with uncertainty because they tie their sense of security to external factors. They feel safe when they have financial stability, strong relationships, and clear career paths. But when those things become uncertain, fear takes over. This happens because their trust is in the temporary rather than the eternal. Tawakkul redirects that trust back to Allah, the only one who is constant, unchanging, and fully in control. In Judah, it teaches that no matter how unpredictable life may seem, nothing happens outside of divine knowledge and decree. Certainty in uncertainty is not about knowing exactly how things will turn out. It is about knowing that whatever happens is already accounted for. It is about understanding that even what seems like chaos is part of a greater order. A person may lose an opportunity they desperately wanted, but Tawakkul reassures them that if it was not meant for them, it was never truly theirs to begin with. They may face a delay in achieving their goals, but Tawakkul reminds them that timing is not random. Everything happens at the precise moment it is meant to. This mindset creates resilience. Instead of breaking down when faced with the unknown, a person with Tawakkul moves forward with confidence. They do not need to see every step ahead because they trust that each step will be revealed when the time is right. This does not mean they sit back and wait for things to happen. They continue to take action, but they do so without fear. They work hard, make efforts, and plan wisely, but they do not allow uncertainty to shake their peace. When someone lives with Tawakkul, They no longer feel the need to rush the process of life. They stop forcing things that are not meant for them and instead embrace the flow of divine timing. They understand that just because they do not have something now does not mean they will never have it. Perhaps they are being prepared for something greater. Just because a door is closed today does not mean it will remain closed forever. Perhaps it will open at the exact moment it is needed. This certainty eliminates unnecessary stress and allows them to navigate life with ease. And while I don't mention this as the primary work of the book, I will tell you it this way drives the focus and prioritization of your life. Many people allow the fear of the unknown to hold them back. They hesitate to take risks, fearing that things might not work out. They avoid change even when it is necessary because they are uncertain about what lies ahead. But Tawakkul removes this fear by instilling the belief that no matter what happens, a person will always be exactly where they are meant to be. This certainty frees them from the paralysis of overthinking and allows them to embrace new opportunities without hesitation. One of the greatest lessons of Tawakkul is that even when things do not make sense in the moment, they always make sense in the grand scheme of things. A person may experience loss, failure, or hardship, but later they come to see how those very experiences led them to something better. They realize that what once seemed like a setback was actually a redirection. What once felt like a painful ending was actually the beginning of something greater. This realization strengthens faith and allows them to face future uncertainties with trust rather than fear. When a person truly internalizes Tawakkul, they no longer feel the need to constantly ask, "What if?" They do not waste energy worrying about scenarios that may never happen. They do not allow uncertainty to rob them of their peace. Instead, they move forward knowing that whatever is ahead has already been taken care of. This certainty does not come from having all the answers. It comes from knowing that they do not need to. Life is full of moments that test patience and perseverance. People go through difficulties, face setbacks, and sometimes feel like their efforts are not yielding results. It is easy to remain motivated when everything is going well, but true strength is revealed in times of hardship. When things do not go as planned, when prayers seem unanswered, when success feels out of reach, the natural response is often frustration, doubt, or even despair. But Tawakkul shifts this perspective completely. It teaches that patience is not about waiting idly, but about trusting that every delay has a purpose, every struggle carries wisdom, and every hardship is temporary. Patience is one of the most powerful traits a person can develop. It is not simply the ability to endure, but the ability to remain steadfast in faith despite challenges. Tawakkul strengthens patience by reminding a person that nothing in life happens randomly. The struggles they face today are not meaningless. They are shaping them, preparing them, and guiding them toward something better. This understanding prevents frustration from taking over. Instead of questioning why things are difficult, a person begins to ask, "What is this teaching me? How is this shaping me?" This mindset turns difficulties into opportunities for growth rather than reasons for despair. Perseverance is equally important. There will always be moments when giving up seems like the easiest option. When things become difficult, when obstacles pile up, when progress is slow, the temptation to quit becomes strong. But Tawakkul gives a person the ability to keep going even when they do not see immediate results. It instills the belief that efforts are never wasted, even if the outcome is not visible yet. Just as a seed takes time to grow beneath the soil before it sprouts, success and breakthroughs often take time before they manifest. The unseen progress is just as real as what is visible, and a person with Tawakkul understands that every effort, no matter how small, is bringing them closer to what is meant for them. One of the biggest obstacles to patience and perseverance is the need for immediate results. People live in a world where instant gratification is expected. If something does not happen quickly, they assume it is not meant to be. But divine timing does not work according to human expectations. Sometimes, a person is being delayed because they are not ready for what they are asking for. Sometimes, they are being tested to see if they truly believe in what they are striving for. Tawakkul allows them to trust that delays are not denials. They understand that just because something is not happening now does not mean it will never happen. It just means that the right moment has not arrived yet. Hardships often come with uncertainty. People do not always know why they are struggling or how long their struggle will last. This uncertainty can create doubt and make it difficult to remain patient. But tawakkul provides certainty even in the unknown. It reassures a person that no hardship lasts forever, that ease will always follow difficulty, and that there is wisdom even in the struggles they do not understand. This certainty makes patience easier to practice. It removes the fear that suffering is endless and replaces it with trust that relief is already on its way. Perseverance also requires a shift in focus. When a person is too fixated on the outcome, they may become discouraged if things do not happen quickly. But tawakkul shifts their focus from the result to the process. It teaches that success is not just about reaching the destination, but about remaining committed to the journey. A person who truly trusts in Allah does not give up just because things become difficult. They continue their efforts, knowing that even if they do not see immediate results, their persistence is being counted and their efforts will bear fruit at the right time. Another important aspect of tawakkul is understanding that patience is not passive. It is not about simply waiting for things to change. It is about actively continuing to do what is necessary while trusting that the results will come. A farmer does not plant seeds and sit back expecting crops to grow on their own. They water the soil, remove the weeds, and do everything they can to nurture growth. But they do not force the plants to grow overnight. They trust that with time and care, the harvest will come. The same principle applies to life. Tawakkul teaches that a person must continue working towards their goals, putting in effort and striving, while knowing that success will come at the right moment. Challenges often make people feel alone, as if no one understands what they are going through. Instead of taking that feeling of loneliness and grappling with it, but tawakkul eliminates this feeling of isolation. It reminds a person that they are never truly alone because Allah is always aware of their struggles. Every tear, every prayer, every moment of difficulty is seen and nothing goes unnoticed. This belief gives a person the strength to remain patient even in their most difficult moments. They understand that they are being supported even when they cannot see it, and this knowledge allows them to keep moving forward. A person with tawakkul does not allow hardships to break them. They do not allow delays to discourage them. They do not allow struggles to make them lose faith. Instead, they develop a deep inner strength that allows them to keep going no matter what challenges they face. They continue to have hope, even when things seem impossible. They remain patient, even when answers do not come immediately. They persevere, even when progress is slow. And so their trust in Allah becomes stronger than their fear of failure. And this trust allows them to navigate life with resilience and confidence. Anxiety is one of the most common struggles people face. It comes from overthinking, worrying about the future, and feeling the need to control everything. People stress over things they cannot change, obsess over outcomes they cannot guarantee, and hold on to situations that are beyond their power. This constant mental pressure drains energy, creates emotional exhaustion, and makes it difficult to find peace. But tawakkul offers a completely different way of living, one where anxiety fades because a person surrenders to divine wisdom. It is the realization that no amount of worry can change what is already written, and no level of overthinking can bring certainty to what Allah has already decreed. Most anxiety comes from fear of the unknown. People want to know exactly how things will turn out. They want to be certain that their plans will succeed, and they want guarantees that they will not face disappointment. But life does not work this way. The future is always uncertain, and trying to control every aspect of it only creates frustration. Tawakkul removes this frustration by teaching that uncertainty is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It reminds a person that they are not responsible for knowing everything, only for trusting in the one who does. This shift in mindset allows them to let go of unnecessary stress and live with ease. A major cause of anxiety is attachment to specific outcomes. People set their hearts on certain goals, relationships, or achievements, believing that their happiness depends on obtaining them. When things do not go as planned, they experience deep distress. But Tawakkul changes this perspective. It teaches that attachment should not be to outcomes but to Allah. A person can work towards something, but they must also be willing to accept that if it does not happen, it is because there is something better written for them. This detachment does not mean a person stops caring. It means they stop allowing their peace to depend on external circumstances. Letting go of anxiety does not mean becoming careless or passive. It does not mean a person stops making efforts or striving for success. It means they take action while understanding that the results are not in their hands. A person can prepare, plan, and do their best, but they do not need to carry the burden of what happens next. This realization lightens the heart and makes it easier to move forward without fear. It allows a person to focus on the present moment instead of being consumed by worries about the future. One of the most powerful aspects of Tawakkul is that it eliminates regret. People often dwell on past decisions, wondering if they made the right choices or wishing they had done things differently. This constant replaying of the past creates unnecessary stress. But when a person has tawakkul, they trust that everything that happened was meant to happen exactly as it did. They understand that even their mistakes were part of a greater plan. This acceptance frees them from the burden of regret and allows them to move forward with peace. Anxiety also arises when people feel they have to figure everything out on their own. They believe that their success, happiness, and security depend entirely on their efforts. This creates pressure and a feeling of loneliness in their struggles, but tawakkul removes this loneliness. It reassures a person that they are not alone in their journey, that they are being guided, and that they do not have to rely solely on themselves. This realization provides a deep sense of comfort and reduces the stress of feeling like everything is solely their responsibility. When a person truly practices tawakkul, they no longer waste time worrying about things beyond their control. They understand that stress does not change outcomes, overthinking does not prevent difficulties, and fear does not create solutions. Instead of exhausting themselves with worry, they choose to surrender their concerns to Allah. This surrender is not about giving up. It is about understanding that they were never meant to carry every burden alone. It is about trusting that no matter what happens, they will be taken care of. Many people find it difficult to let go of worry because they confuse it with responsibility. They believe that if they stop worrying, it means they do not care. But Tawakkul teaches that responsibility is about taking action, not about being consumed by fear. A person can care deeply, work hard, and strive for their goals while still maintaining inner peace. They do not have to carry unnecessary stress to prove their dedication. They simply need to do what is in their power and leave the rest to Allah. Another source of anxiety is the fear of loss. People fear losing relationships, opportunities, or possessions they value, but Tawakkul teaches that nothing truly belongs to a person. Everything is temporarily entrusted to them by Allah. When they stop seeing things as theirs and start seeing them as blessings given for a period of time, they stop clinging with fear. They appreciate what they have while they have it, but they do not allow the fear of losing it to steal their peace. They trust that whatever is meant to stay will stay, and whatever is meant to leave will leave, and both are ultimately for their best. A person with tawakkul does not allow anxiety to control their life. They do not live in fear of what might happen, nor do they carry the weight of the past. They move forward with confidence, knowing that they are being guided and protected. They no longer allow their minds to be consumed by endless worry. Instead, they replace fear with faith, stress with surrender, and anxiety with absolute trust in the wisdom of Allah. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the ability to act despite fear. Fear often holds people back, whether it is fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown, or fear of loss. The desire to avoid discomfort or uncertainty can prevent individuals from pursuing their dreams, taking risks, or stepping outside their comfort zones. However, tawakkul brings a profound shift in how one views fear. When a person truly places their trust in Allah, fear no longer has the power to dictate their actions. Instead of being paralyzed by anxiety or hesitation, they find the courage to move forward, even in the face of uncertainty, because they trust that Allah is always with them, guiding them and protecting them. Fear often arises from the belief that one is alone in facing challenges. When a person feels isolated or unsupported, fear becomes overwhelming. And then what? The weight of trying to navigate life without assistance or protection can be paralyzing. But Tawakkul eliminates this sense of isolation. It instills the belief that a person is never truly alone no matter what they face. Allah's guidance is always present, and His support is constant. This belief gives a person a sense of strength and security that diminishes fear. The more they trust in Allah, the less they feel the need to rely solely on themselves. And this understanding allows them to act with confidence. Taking courageous steps often means venturing into the unknown. People fear what they cannot predict or control, and this fear can be overwhelming. However, Tawakkul teaches that the unknown is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It encourages individuals to trust that whatever is ahead is part of a divine plan, even if they do not understand it fully. The unknown becomes a space for growth, learning, and discovering new opportunities. Rather than being intimidated by uncertainty, a person with tawakkul embraces it with faith, knowing that they are guided every step of the way. When someone places their trust in parabola, they no longer fear failure in the same way. Failure is often seen as something to be avoided at all costs. People fear making mistakes because they worry about judgment or the consequences of their actions. But tawakkul transforms the way one perceives failure. It teaches that failure is not a reflection of one's worth or abilities. Rather, it is a stepping stone toward growth and improvement. If something does not go as planned, it is simply part of the learning process. Allah has a greater plan, and if a person's efforts are sincere, every setback is just a redirection. This perspective removes the sting from fear of failure and replaces it with the courage to try, to make mistakes, and to keep going despite setbacks. Fear can also arise from the fear of judgment. Many people hold back from speaking their truth or taking bold actions because they fear what others might think or say. They worry about the opinions of others, about being criticized or misunderstood. But Tawakkul teaches that the only opinion that truly matters is the opinion of Allah. When a person has complete trust in Allah, they realize that seeking approval from others should not be their primary goal. Their courage comes from the desire to please Allah, not from the need for validation from people. This shift in focus allows a person to act with authenticity and confidence, no longer weighed down by the fear of judgment. One of the greatest sources of courage comes from the belief that Allah's plan is always better than any plan a person could create. People often fear that they are not in control of their lives or that they are unable to achieve their goals. But Tawakkul teaches that true control lies in trusting Allah's will. When a person surrenders their efforts to Allah, they are not giving up. They are acknowledging that there is wisdom in the way things unfold. They act with determination, but they also release the need to control the outcome. This surrender gives them a deep sense of peace, knowing that they are not alone in their efforts and that whatever happens is exactly what is meant to be. Fear can make a person hesitant to take the first step towards something new. It holds them back from pursuing their dreams or trying something unfamiliar. But Tawakkul provides the courage to take that first step, even when the path ahead is unclear. It encourages a person to act with faith and trust that everything will unfold as it should. This trust eliminates the paralyzing effects of fear and empowers a person to move forward, knowing that the results are not in their hands but in Allah's. Courage is also about standing firm in one's convictions, even when faced with opposition or difficulty. When a person faces criticism, doubt, or adversity, it is easy to falter or second-guess their decisions. But Tawakkul gives a person the inner strength to stand firm in their beliefs. It provides the courage to keep moving forward, even when others question or challenge their path. When a person's trust in Allah is unwavering, they are not easily swayed by external opinions or obstacles. They know that as long as they are true to their purpose and aligned with Allah's guidance, they are on the right path, and that is all that matters. Ultimately, courage through trust in Allah means moving forward with confidence no matter what challenges arise. It means acting in the face of fear, trusting that Allah will provide the strength and wisdom needed for every situation. It means embracing the unknown with faith, trusting that whatever is meant for them will come at the right time. When fear no longer holds power, courage is free to flourish. Through Tawakkul, a person gains the courage to pursue their dreams, to take risks, and to live boldly, knowing that they are always supported by a higher power.